Oh, you're live now. Fresh.
We are live now. We go again.
Welcome
so sorry.
everybody. Welcome everyone back to another episode of the Weebs Rise Up Podcast featuring the hosting team TGXAndy and Kamui. And this week joining us is GigaScott.
Yo, what's up?
So, welcome, Scott. Before we get into knowing Scott, we'd like to have announce some anime news that we found out recently. Let's see. So, remember we talked about Uzumaki last time, and I was like, "Hey, Uzumaki should have an anime. Wouldn't that be great?" Well, guess what? Uzumaki is getting an anime. It was announced at I believe Crunchyroll Expo, right? And because Junji Ito was actually the author, the mangaka, he was there at Crunchyroll Expo, so they announced that. So that's exciting news, and it's going to be appearing on Toonami actually in the US before Japan. I mean, that's pretty pog, I guess.
I know.
Yeah, so is it dubbed then? If they're gonna put it on Toonami?
I don't know.
I guess it's dubbed before sub this time. and
Could be.
and I'm sure we're all guilty. Whoever reads manga, we all use third-party websites. So I'm sure some of you have used the app Manga Rock if you read as much manga as I do, or And so, unfortunately, the Manga Rock app is actually shutting down. So
Oh no.
yeah, no
What?
more quality free manga on our iPads with easy accessibility on.
Damn.
So we'll have to deal with that. But we got another piece of news. That's for you, Andy.
Yeah, so Rise of the Shield Hero got announced that it's getting seasons 2 and season 3 adapted into anime. They gave us the big ol' number 2 and the number 3 all at once. And it's happening. It was a really well received anime that aired not this current season, but I believe through the last 2 seasons. A lot of people were big fans of it, and so I'm sure a lot of people were hopeful that it was going to get another season, and then boom, they hit them with the 1-2. It's just getting 2 more seasons now, and it raises the discussion of the unfortunate fallen animes through the past who've never gotten their season 2 and would have probably loved to have gotten a season 2 and season 3 announced together. For me, I'm one of many who misses watching No Game No Life and is never getting a season 2 at this rate. It's unfortunate when a show that and Rise of the Shield Hero wasn't even as well received as like No Game No Life, but Rise of the Shield Hero is getting 2 and 3. It's getting in there, so anything's possible now. But it's only really with newer anime moving forward. Is probably going to be getting the adaptations that they want. Maybe 15 years from now they'll redo No Game No Life from the start, and then it'll take off from there. But maybe that's in the future.
I think Rise of the Shield Hero was really popular. I heard about it a lot from huge crowd, and I'm sure it's really big in Japan especially. So
yeah, it was pretty big. Yeah.
There was a lot of hype about that anime too. So
yeah, but there's definitely bigger anime that didn't get second season adaptations.
It's not about
crazy.
It's not about what's big, Size doesn't
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh.
So, okay, Scott, welcome to our show, GigaScott. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Scott
So,
doesn't matter.
So tell us, how'd you get into anime?
Okay, all right. How did I get into anime? Usually, it's basically how everyone else started into anime, just watching Toonami and like Yu-Gi-Oh and all the Saturday morning stuff. I think my first anime I watched was probably Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was
On
but it was like
Toonami or
the
something?
Right.
Was it on Toonami?
yeah, but it was like the English version. So the voice
Yeah.
actors were like, I watch it now, and I'm like, dang, these voice actors are so bad. They
Did
were
you watch
pretty
the new
bad.
season? The new
Oh
season
no,
that came
no,
out recently?
like the old anime
Yeah, I know.
from like a while
You didn't
back.
want to
Like
rewatch the new one?
no, I haven't seen the new one yet,
Mm.
but just your usual anime start, and I started like watching the what's it called, Cowboy Bebop and
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the oldies.
Samurai Champloo and all those other ones.
I think we all started
Um,
on that like Toonami, WB
yeah.
Kids or whatever, and then we
Hmm.
all move on to the internet because we found out about YouTube. Part
Yeah.
1, Part 2, Part 3 anime.
Where like you
Watching
watch
it.
the anime at like this like small part of
Yeah.
like
Three
of
part
the video,
files.
Yeah.
and it's
And then
also flipped. It's like flipped. I'm like, wait a minute, he's not facing that way. It's
Uh,
weird. And
oh my
so
god, that's the worst. They're scared of like the
so
copyright.
so where did you go from there though? How did you become the big anime boyo that you are now, Scott? What was the turning point from where you just went from the casual Cowboy Bebop Sailor Moon? 'Cause that wasn't the real stuff. We know that wasn't the real stuff for you. When did
yeah.
you get into the good stuff? How did you get in there? What was the good stuff?
The good stuff. Well, like it started with the internet. When I stopped watching like English voice acting and actually like heading into like subbed anime, I was like, oh, this is the real stuff. This is you're like who needs English voice actors anymore? So it just started from there. I there's a lot.
Did you have any animes that stood out to you when you first started watching shows, or like you not really remember what the stuff you watched at first was?
The first like that's a
Like
good
internet
question.
anime is what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
First internet anime. It's probably Bleach.
Naruto.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
my
I
god.
started with Bleach. Like
Bleach.
I liked Naruto, but I was like, I'm feeling Bleach more. So
I did like Bleach more back then, actually.
it
I
was
was like, Bleach
cool.
is so cool. It's so
Like
good.
it was
And
really
then it all
cool.
spiraled down.
Yeah, once Aizen was beat, I was like, okay, this is it. Like this is the end. Or
Wait,
like
Aizen was broken though. Should that even be legal in anime?
I don't know. And then like shoot, what's his name? The main guy, Ichigo.
Ichigo.
Yeah, like he started to get all the abilities from
Oh
like
yeah.
everyone. He was like, okay, he is
I
a
mean, that's kind
he
of
was a
like such a
Reaper, and then he became a Hollow, and then he
that's
became like
that's kind of so anime though. Like Naruto got like everything at the end too.
that's true. That's true.
It's
He's
just
like
so like
he can do
shonen
everything.
anime. They just like
Yeah,
get a little bit of everything. It's like when Ash gets every starter Pokemon eventually, right?
that's true.
Yeah.
And yeah, he never wins. He won a league once, but it
He
wasn't
never wins.
technically a league.
True
So
anime. That's the true
mhm,
true meaning of anime. True meaning of life. You
right.
never win.
So
No
Oh
matter how
no.
great you are.
mhm. I think like one also like huge thing that happened in anime was like my first exposure to like what actual like fan services. I was like, wait, what? Like what's fan service? And then I looked up on the internet, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is fan service? Oh geez.
Were you like,
Uh-oh.
boobies! Open
I better
eyes.
hide this from my
Peeking through your fingers.
erase search history.
God, when I watched
So
Elfen Lied in middle school, dang.
Yeah, for me, fan service wise, I remember what was it, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. There's like
Mhm.
some episode that's like episode. It's either 32 or 42, I think, if I remember right. It's like there's a fucking scene with Winry Rockbell in the bathtub.
Oh yeah. I was like,
I
That
remember
doesn't
watching.
sound that bad, right?
I remember watching. It's only like a 5-second scene,
Mhm.
anyways. But like I remember watching that episode more than once.
yeah.
So yeah, I know what you mean about that young experience into the world of fan service. Indeed.
Yeah. It's like you're so innocent,
Well,
and then you see like, oh no,
what's
anime
interesting
boobies.
is like what's considered okay in Japan is not okay in America. So like they would censor it more. I remember when when we started watching Naruto on you know in the internet. I used to
Mhm.
watch it off of like it was on Toonami, right? And so on Toonami they actually took out like there was less blood because there's like it's not super violent, but there was like blood and like some violence in Naruto, just a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but on Toonami, they actually took out some of that violence, like the blood and stuff. But if you actually watch like the regular Japanese version, they had like full
Mhm.
the full scene.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
that's also goes with fan service. They'll probably like cut out some of like not too much boobies for the kids, guys.
There's always that like white steam.
But
That's
it's
like
okay in
right in
America,
front.
or it's okay in Japan, but in America, it's like God forbid these kids see a little bit of
Oh my
butts.
Nice.
So-
Well, then the next question we have for you, Scott, to introduce you to our audience is, what's your favorite anime and why do you recommend it to all of our listeners today?
Oh, okay. I would say, Samurai Champloo. That is
Oh, really?
like that is
Really?
my like favorite anime. I was thinking about this whole week. I was like, what's my favorite anime? I would say Samurai Champloo. It's really good. I mean, like it's a mix between like like history anime,
Ooh.
um samurai, like, and hip hop. Like
Yeah.
the music is what like really just like hooked it for me. I
Were
love
you
hip
in middle
hop and
school?
rap. Uh, I think I was in middle school
Yeah.
when it was on. Like like it was really the music that like
So,
just really hit it home.
so my question for you, since this is your favorite anime, but it's something that you picked up when you were young, have you rewatched it as an adult, and did the feelings still carry over for you? Because I know
Yes.
a lot of times, okay, and then a
Yes.
lot of
Like
times, if you like watch something as a kid and then come back to it as an adult, you might be like, "What the fuck was I thinking?"
no. This is
So-
like I still watched like the last episode,
Oh,
and I'm like, man, it's so good. Like
there's always
it's
those episodes
so
you
good.
rewatch. You don't watch the whole series. You watch that one episode because you're like,
Yeah.
dang, that's so good.
Mhm. Like for me, it was the last 2 episodes of Samurai Champloo. Like those were really good. So,
Okay.
So that's your favoriteest anime of all time.
yes, watch it.
Yeah.
Watch that anime. I think it's
Nice.
better than Cowboy
Really?
Bebop.
Cowboy
Yeah.
You mean
Mhm.
everyone's hardcore favorite classic anime that's on their top, and they'll kill anyone who says it's not?
It's like, oh my god, how dare you? I'm like, no. Samurai Champloo is I think is better. So,
Interesting.
Did you explain a little about what it was?
oh,
Oh yeah, like what is Samurai Champloo about? Yeah, give us the quick rundown for the folks at home.
okay, so there is this lady who is working at a bar, and usual anime, like
Usual.
the workers are like, hey baby, and then let me like, and they like squeeze her butt,
Ooh, toxic.
and then the one of the samurai, the main samurai, his name is Mugen. he was like, hey, like don't like mess with her, blah 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 blah. So he starts a fight. All that stuff happens. But the main story is she's actually looking for the samurai who smells like sunflowers.
Okay.
So reason is they murdered, or that samurai murdered her family. So
Okay.
she is like, I want to find him. I want my revenge, all that stuff. So Mugen and this other
journey. Yeah.
yeah.
You got
It's
a
basically
journey.
like,
All right.
yeah, it's awesome. It's like it's really, you just kind of this explore with them.
Mhm.
It's like a mini slice of life, but the overarching story is her finding that samurai who smells of sunflowers.
I got you. Alrighty.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
Oh, is Avatar The Last Airbender anime? Yes.
Scott.
Oh snap!
I say it's anime, but
He's starting a
whatever.
fight right here on stream.
Whatever.
Okay.
Anyways.
Good
So,
questions.
what we actually really wanted to get to, Scott wanted to talk about slice of life anime.
Oh.
So, why do you want everyone to know about slice of life? What makes it? So, what is slice of life first?
So, okay. So slice of life anime is what it is. It's
a genre. So
yeah.
Let's start there. Slice of life is a genre of anime.
Mm-hmm. And it's just anime, just based on like average life, but it's usually mixed in. It's usually mixed in with like just something like funny, some action, but in slice of life anime, you don't really have like, oh, like he is the leader of this organization and he is the villain, and you don't have like the Espada and all these other like I like Bleach.
Espada.
The Espada. I always remember those guys. So good. Like, but it's just like a regular anime that like mirrors life, and I like it. It's I think it's what just made me see that yes, there is more anime out there besides like your like shonens and
your big
and your
high
harems,
intensity anime.
Right. Yeah, there's like it's like a more casual type of anime. It's like it's the more relaxing stuff, really. Like it's not so high impact or high action. It's stuff you can like chill and like just enjoy the ride of these people experiencing their everyday lives.
Yes, it's my favorite.
Yeah, so I never really thought too hard about slice of life anime before, because like I guess I never thought of like some of the anime that I've seen. I never really thought of them as slice of life. It doesn't come to me that way.
Yeah, at first I was like, I haven't watched that much slice of life anime, and then like I looked at my list of animes that I've watched. I was like, wait, this might be slice of life, maybe this one also might be slice of life, and then I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, they pretty much are. Yeah, it's pretty. It falls into the category.
Like,
there's a variety of shows. I've watched things like I've watched shows. I knew for sure shows that I've watched like Lucky Star and K-On! Were slice of life, but I've also watched shows like Blend S, Gabrielle Dropout. Full Moon might even be considered you could even call it a slice of life, among others that I've watched.
I don't think Full Moon is slice of life, no.
You don't think so?
No. It's
not as much.
It's completely, not that slice of life can't be shoujo, but I say that's completely shoujo with like that's not really slice of life. It's more
but yeah, Haruhi Suzumiya, that show that I watched
I think
as
that
well.
one is.
That would totally qualify in my books.
That might be like one of my first slice of life anime, actually.
because there's
Suzumiya
just like this.
Haruhi.
They're just going through these crazy antics of like high schoolers living their lives,
Mhm.
even though there's this whole overarching plot going on. Like the episodes themselves follow these different storylines of like just everyday activities, and they're very relatable. Like that's the thing about slice of life anime. It's super
Yes.
relatable because like you know when you relate to something like Naruto, you relate to it in a different way because you don't relate to Naruto going on missions and killing ninjas or different
I'm an
like
actual ninja.
you don't relate to that part of the show. So like
Uh-huh.
those have a different relatable element, but for these it's very straightforward. Like you're relating to the exact actions that the characters are taking because it's stuff
Mhm.
that you experience yourself. So I
Yeah,
think that's like the large appeal of slice of life anime.
it's
So
true.
G2 says, isn't slice of life just school animes? Which a
No,
lot of
like
them,
I
a
mean,
lot
a
of them
lot of them
are
will be, yeah, just
because
because
Yeah.
that target audience. So
Yeah.
yeah, the target audience as well as the fact that it's about like a lot of slice of life is supposed to be relatable, kind of like putting yourself, being able to put yourself or like um,
Mhm.
to that their situation and everything. And so like I guess a lot of it is just it's a lot of high school anime you could argue is slice of life. But to me slice of life could be like one of those anime that's always like you know how like it's not really like completely like sequential story. It's like each episode is its own little story, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
So I feel like a
yeah,
lot of slice of life is kind of like that. But I mean, I
yeah,
think slice of life has like evolved from just being like the like just the mundane and natural, like, cause I looked up like slice of life and it was just kind of like, oh, it's like mundane, no conflict, not much is going on. But I think anime has evolved the genre
Mhm.
to be a little bit more than just like the naturalism of just people doing like everyday things. And of course,
yeah,
we do have animes called Nichijou. Nichijou, you know what we're talking about, right? the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the high school girls comedy anime, right?
Mhm. It's
And
so good.
so it's technically, they're high school girls. It's like they're going through their everyday lives, going to school and everything, but it's ridiculous. It's like absolutely ridiculous. There's a goat. There's the girl's like doing a German suplex on a goat or something, right? So like it's mundane. They're doing like mundane things, but like putting it to an extreme so that it's like comedic, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah. A good non-high school or non-school based slice of life anime you might want to look at if you're interested in the genre but don't relate as much to school kids would be Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is the one that I
Mhm.
enjoyed a whole lot. I think I gave that show
Yeah.
maybe like an 8 or a 9. It was that show I loved. It,
It's
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 it's good.
it's about a dragon who finds a home becoming a maid for a working class woman who does like computer science work
Mhm.
and comes home and just drinks beer and like lays on the couch and watches TV and like has a very mundane life. But then the dragon comes in and moves in with her and like some crazy stuff starts happening. But it's very slice of life and but it is a little bit more maturely targeted than the other shows that you're worried about,
Yeah.
that some people are worried about in
Mhm.
chat.
I like that anime. Like as a working individual, like those are the animes I just like look for to be like, oh, it's about, you know, living the life as a working adult, and then there's also some like super maid that's
Superman.
that's happening. That's
Wait,
also in my
guys,
house.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is Persona 5 a slice of life anime game?
I haven't played Persona
Ah,
5 yet, so no
interesting.
comment from me.
I I don't know.
Have you played it?
No, but
Oh my god!
I heard like the new Fire Emblem is similar to
Really?
yeah.
I could believe that the new Fire Emblem is a slice of life, so
I
if that's
agree.
the argument
Yes.
someone wants to make. So
Yeah.
I'm still having trouble understanding which things could be considered slice of life. I mean, like,
Mhm.
so they say it would be, ordinary people doing ordinary things, but you can also get into
Mm-hmm.
like
Well,
fantasy, slice of life, or
yeah,
like
it's not necessarily,
sci-fi.
it's not
Not
ordinary
necessarily.
people, but it's the fact that they are doing, yeah, it's mainly that they're doing ordinary tasks
Mm-hmm.
or just going on generic adventures that don't have like an overarching story or plotline or conflict to them. It's just the events are just, they are just these episodic events that happen, and
Yeah.
there's a story being told within the little event.
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more of what it's about. Um,
Yeah.
so there were some recommendations that Kamui had for, or
Oh, so
were
each of us can make some. Well, so some animes that are considered slice of life. We got Nichijou. I don't know if you guys know Danshi Kokosei no Nichijou, which is kind of like Nichijou but about high school boys.
Yeah.
Going into the more high school genre
Mm-hmm.
or top. Um, we have Barakamon, Asobi Asobase, which is what Scott mentioned.
It's
Honda-san.
it's it's really
What's
good.
what's the Honda-san anime called?
It's like, oh shoot, it's some like long name, but it ends in Honda-san. Sorry, I didn't.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we
But
got like Free, Anohana,
mhm.
Natsume Yujincho, which is fucking amazing. Oh, it's called Gaikotsu Shotenin Honda-san.
Yeah, that's better than what I would say. So, and then
So,
Hina Matsuri is also a slice of life, which is really awesome.
what would you consider? What would you recommend to a beginner if they were trying to get into slice of life?
um,
Mm,
a really beginnery one, yeah, there's one of the most beginnery ones is probably Lucky Star or Azumanga
Oh,
Daioh.
those are the old
Are
school ones.
yeah.
that's going old school though, but like
That's old
those,
school.
that's like if you want the, or K-On. You know what? Screw the other two options. K-On.
Oh my god! He threw those
K-On if
out the
you're trying.
window.
Yeah,
That
throw
was
those out
number
the
one
window.
on the list.
We don't need those. K-On!
Shut
Is
the-
probably the ultimate because it was a very genre-defining anime.
Okay.
It paved the way for other slice of life animes. K-On! Is everything about it. It is the true spirit of slice of life. If you watch K-On!, it's
Mhm.
literally just four high school girls, later five, but it's these high school
Spoiler
girls
alert, there's five.
who form a club together. They
Uh,
form a club together and they do club activities,
Oh, isn't it
and
like a
that's the
light
whole anime. That's the
light
whole
music
anime.
club?
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
they make the light music club and they do club activities, and that's the entire anime. And it's super ordinary and like plain, but like the animation is cool. It's like it's just a cute anime, and
It's
and,
very
and it's got funny
Kyoto.
elements, and it's like it's
Mhm.
super slice of life. It's the truest of it. So
Mhm.
you know,
It's the art is very Kyoto animation, distinctly.
yes, yeah, that's true too. So that's probably my number one recommendation is K-On!, which I didn't finish K-On! All the way, but that was just because I at some point it was too slow moving for me. But that was just a
Dang, he
personal
gave up
gripe.
on it after this fat recommendation. He was
It
like,
just
"This is
became,
His
huge,
life was
guys."
way too slow.
but if you want to get introduced into the genre and see what it's about, it's still good
Mhm.
to watch.
Mhm.
I think it's an essential. Yeah, if you want to see what the genre is all about.
I I don't know if I've really loved anything that was extremely like ordinary. Like kind of like because I've never seen K-On, but I feel like I have to have slice of life added with like it needs to be funny or something, or like it
Mhm.
has to have
Mhm.
like something a little bit of like supernatural. So for me, my favorite is Natsume Yujincho. I never really thought of it as slice of life because I was just like, oh, it's like a shoujo supernatural thing, but apparently it's considered that. So
Mhm.
now
Mhm.
that I thought about it, I was like, yeah, it is. But it's like you're going through like the life of like the main character. He can see yokai, which are like the spirits, the Japanese folktale spirits or whatever. And so he's the only one who's like um able to see it. Not just the only one, but very few people can see them, of course. So it's like you can't really relate to that. But I guess it's
Mhm.
just the story and the emotions and feelings and the things that they're going through. that you can
Yeah.
definitely like. I don't know. It's so heartfelt. I would definitely recommend that. So for
Mhm.
me, Natsume Yujincho and Barakamon, which is about a calligrapher. He just gets booted to an island in the boonies, and he's just gotta love his life. So that one's really funny. And he meets like a little, he has a big. He bonds with like a little 5-year-old girl, and it's like a huge funny anime. I don't know how old she is. I say 5. She's just a small, tiny girl. But yeah, that one's a good one.
Interesting.
What do you think, Scott?
Sweet.
Scott, did
What's
you have any
your
final recommendations for the slice of life genre?
Um. So let's see. Slice of life recommendations. If you wanted, I would say Honda-san is probably like one I'd recommend. It's just like, just life of a um what's it called? Manga worker. He works in a manga store, and this is like who he meets at the manga store, and it's really funny. If you want to go like real slice of life, like hard hitting slice of life, I would say Anohana is is the like that's the real, like, if you want emotion, it's like Anohana is a really sad anime, but it's like
I know Hana's not the full
it's really
anime title. it's
right.
it's long. I don't think anyone actually knows it, but yeah. Moving on.
But yeah,
Continue, Scott.
it's really good. I mean, like, I don't want to say any more of it because just I'd say just watch it. And
Didn't Anohana make everyone cry?
yes. that's
There we
why
go.
that's why I say like should watch it. See, another one, I would say Hinamatsuri um is another one. It's like I just like slice of life and like funny stuff. So like, Hinamatsuri, you know, Asobi, Asobase, just all just like weird, funny slice of life anime. It's
Yeah.
just it's you know, I never thought like anime would like make me laugh, but
Are you trying to tell me
they
Gintama
exist.
didn't make you laugh?
Oh, like it just, yeah. That anime just has so many feels in that anime. It's I don't know what it is, but it's great. It's great.
I've heard a lot about Anohana, but I never watched it personally myself. So
Hmm.
if you guys
It's on
really want to get
Netflix.
into
It's
it,
on
oh, it's on
Netflix.
Netflix. Nice.
It is on Netflix. So watch that.
So these are our recommendations if you really want to get into the genre.
Just watch K-On! That's my
That
answer.
too.
That's my
Jesus.
answer. Just watch K-On!
Yeah.
Hinamatsuri is really good too. Actually,
Yeah.
I agree with that recommendation too.
Andy's
Mhm.
throwing all of our recommendations out. He's like,
It's like
chaos, guys.
it's all chaos.
Screw all the other ones.
I did research on slice of life, and that was like number one slice of
Yeah,
life. I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
yeah. When I was looking it up, I would just see chaos like everywhere.
Mhm. Alrighty. Well, we should move on now to our second to last segment of the podcast, our character war segment. Now, this week, the three of us have decided who we think the best character, the absolute greatest character in the world of slice of life is.
Oh man.
So we each have a anime character that we will be representing in this battle by describing to you, the listeners, who this character is and why they are better than the other characters that each of
Oh
us
my
on this
god.
show has.
Well then, we're
Slice of
fighting to the
life
death for
is
this.
better than slice of life.
So
We need a poll for this.
I
We need a
will
poll
let
for
Kamui start us off with
me first.
start us
Alright.
off with your
Alright.
best
Okay,
character.
guys, if you couldn't tell what my favorite slice of life character is, The big hint, that I made. It's gotta be Natsume from Natsume Yujincho. Wow, who knew that character's name would be Natsume? It couldn't be.
It's in the anime.
So Natsume is the boy, not the big yokai thing. So he's basically I explained the whole little premise about the animes that he has the ability to see all these creatures that everyone around him can't. So he's always been like ever since he was little, everyone called him a liar. Not his parents, his relatives, or anyone who took care of him. He had to keep moving from like different households because like they all thought he was strange and like lying and just like creepy because he's like, oh, I see. If a little boy was like, I see things, and you're like, not this horror movie stuff. But that's not how the anime went, of course. But kind of, it's not horror. Just the fact that he's always been like kind of outcasted by everyone he's met. So he's just trying to, now he's in high school, he knows better not to like creep people out. And so this is just about how he meets the first episode, he meets that big white thing, except he doesn't actually look like that in the first episode, I think. But so essentially he meets him and he has this thing called Natsume Yujincho. Yujincho is the Book of Friends, and the Book of Friends has all the names of this yokai, and so with those names you can control that yokai because names are really important in the whole like folklore thing. And so essentially it's just about his everyday life. Every day there's a little story about him meeting another yokai, and it's just very heartfelt because it's always about like, it's always so bittersweet or like emotional, and it's just he's just a really nice boy. And he just goes through so much hardship.
Bankai.
I'm going on so much about the anime instead of about him, but I guess he is the anime, so why not?
Makes sense, yeah. Alrighty.
Okay, who next?
Next up is my character. My character is from Hina Matsuri, and her name is Hitomi Mishima. Now, Hitomi is the classmate of main character Hina, and she's a really smart girl. Now, this really smart girl
She is
gets caught up in some antics outside of class and ends up just like, so. And then there's an episode where like she is trying to find out what's going on with like Hina and her family, and she ends up in a bar trying to like follow them, and then like she gets caught up with a customer's like asking her to make a drink for him or something like that, and then she makes the drink for him because he like gives her the instructions, and then suddenly like 5 minutes later she's working at a bar. She has a job at a bar, and she like gets blackmailed into working at a bar. So it's bartender middle school girl.
Is that legal?
Very smart girl. Not very legal. You can't make a
My
you
God.
can't make a middle schooler work at a bar. Don't actually do this, but
Illegal.
best girl, makes drinks, smart girl. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Give
Illegal
head
as
pats.
well.
Give head pats. Yeah. All right, Scott, take us away.
Take us away.
All right,
to-
so my character is Honda-san.
Which is the skeleton guy.
He is.
Look at the background. Just a
Yeah.
board.
Those are like his those are his worker friends. So this is basically like I've said before, he's a manga worker. He works at a manga store. He sells, all mangas, and usually usually each episode he meets some rando who wants let's say there was an episode where he's like, "Oh, where's your yaoi manga?" And and he was
That's gonna be me.
Nice.
It's like yaoi manga. I don't know what to say.
He gets
Use this
flustered.
one. Yeah. He's like super nervous, and he's like, "Oh no!" It's like, what about this? what about this? And they're like, oh no, it's too weird. But
No, I want my boys on top of another
it's
boy. That's what I
it's
want.
really good. It's so funny. He's like super awkward and
Oh no.
it's just it's funny. They make fun of like other animes, like
Oh,
other
that's so
animes and other
nice.
like mangas, but like they edit the name out, but like
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what it is. Like you know what it is. So
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
it's pretty funny. I think it's all,
Is it kind of like a what do you call those? Four panel like comedy manga?
uh yeah, like that's the original manga, and then like it was made into this anime, and it's really funny. So, and then like so his workers each have like a role, and everyone has like a weird face, so like you don't
As you
really
can see in
know.
the background, all the weird
Yeah,
characters.
so it's a funny anime, and each episode is only like 11 minutes, so you can just like boom speed through it.
Oh, really? It's short?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that
pretty
makes it
short.
easy to watch then.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, in my opinion, Hitomi is still best girl because she
Mm-hmm.
can
Oh, wow.
mix them drinks. She can get
She's
you
in middle
lit
school.
up.
She's doing something
She
illegal.
makes them drinks
I'm calling the loli
in middle
police.
school.
uh, and yeah, and her friends are pretty badass too. She's got some cool friends
Mm-hmm.
in the show.
Yay. You guys should definitely watch the anime that we recommended here. So we got
Mm-hmm.
Natsume Yujin Cho, um, blah 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 Honda-san, rip,
No, it's okay.
and then oh, you said Hina Matsuri, right?
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was the one that my character is
So
from.
that's where these characters are from. And so,
Awesome.
Alrighty, well, with that, we will be moving into our final segment, the live question and answers. This is the time now for members of the chat room here live on Twitch TV to ask us the hard hitting questions that they want answered by us, the anime experts. Um, I will go ahead and pull the first question that I saw in chat just a moment ago. G2 asks, what anime did make you cry?
what anime did
Mm.
make me cry? The first thing that popped into my head actually was Code Geass for some reason. I don't remember why though. Why did I cry in Code Geass? I don't know.
It's a good question. I can't remember. I want to say I've cried in at least like 5 different animes that I've watched. I can't remember any exactly, but I want to say one that at least got me like teary-eyed. I think Madoka Magica was probably one of them because it had some pretty powerful moments in there. Have you seen
Mhm.
Madoka Kamui? You haven't?
No,
No.
Oh, you should totally
unfortunately.
watch it. It's
I
a
mean,
really good show.
fortunately, I haven't seen it.
I I think there were moments that were just like I think there was the moments that just got me like choked up, but like I don't know for sure that I was just like bawling my eyes out or anything like that. But I think that's the first one that comes to mind. I'm trying to think if there were any other ones that were
So,
good like that.
Apollo McNugget said what made him cry was Hotarubi no Cry My Eyes Out, which actually, it's actually called Hotarubi no Morie, which is actually by the same, it was a movie, like I think it was only an hour long anime movie, and it
Mhm.
was created by the same mangaka as Natsume Yujin Cho, so it's actually her her story. And actually, the main character, the guy, he actually kind of looks like Natsume, but maybe that's just her art style.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, that one is pretty sad because it's so like, it's really cute and everything's just like, building up nicely, and then it happened. Yes, it.
Mm.
I can't say.
I just remembered another one that definitely got me. This one definitely got me. 100% got me. Not even just like a little bit got me. This one got me. Clannad After Story.
Oh no,
Oh,
I think
no, dude.
G2 mentioned that actually.
Yeah, Clannad After Story got me.
Mhm.
That's definitely one of them. They got me there with that anime. That's a good watch. After Story is like a 10 out of 10 to me. I
Scrub
love that show.
Scrub God D-Rain says, uh, if you're looking for a good cry, a flower we saw that day, which is actually Anohana.
That's Anohana,
Um,
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
we had mentioned
It's
that
so
earlier
good.
actually, and so I don't know anything about it though, so I can't say.
Did it get you, Scott? Did it get you? Did it do it to you?
Anohana?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Like at the end, I was just losing it. I was losing it. What another anime that like, I lost it to was Your Lie in April. Have you
I've
seen that one?
seen a whole 8 episodes. Wow, quality.
It was just like so sad. And I was like, oh, you know, it's about this character who is sick and he makes friends with the main character who likes music and she's like a violin player and it's really good. I mean,
The
another
pianist and
one,
the
yeah.
violin player, yeah. It's such a great
Uh,
instrumental duo. I mean, those two instruments just make such a great duet. I don't know why. There's just something so good about it.
I've watched a few episodes and I do plan on finishing it, but I haven't
Mhm.
gotten around to it yet.
It's good. Also, Your Name. I cried in Your
Oh,
Name.
dude.
I cried in
Oh,
Your
yeah,
Name.
man.
I was like,
Uh,
oh my gosh.
I was drunk the first
Remember
night I
who she
watched.
is or
I
who
think
he is.
I was
Yeah.
drunk the first night I watched Your Name, but I think it did get me. I don't remember the night completely, but I think it probably got me. That was probably a good one. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
I'm
good
gonna
pick.
say that if I watch 5 centimeters per second again, maybe I'd cry. No, I already know what happens. So no, even though you know what's gonna happen, there's still those like part of the anime that you still cry at, even though you're like you already seen this like 5 times. You're like, I'm gonna go cry again at this one scene that I've rewatched like 6 times. That's what happened at Code Geass. I remember, and I don't remember why I cried at Code Geass. I like to call Code Geass Code Gay Ass, but.
Lord.
What's another one? I can't think of it.
Hmm.
Cried tears of joy for Gintama, not joy, because it's so funny.
Yes, yes. Hilarious.
All right, we have another question in chat though from Scrub God Drains. He asks, "What is the best comedy anime?" Now, for me, I haven't actually watched a lot of comedy anime. I've watched at least. It's my least watched genre. That's for sure. I know that I don't pay attention to
You don't
comedy as
like
much.
comedy?
I know. So some picks that I've watched, Hinamatsuri got me laughing a lot. Konosuba got me laughing a good bit. Tajina Senpai, which I'm watching right now, I liked a lot. And Kaguya-sama is one that comes to mind that I've watched and I enjoyed and gave it a good old laugh. I don't know which one's my favorite out of those four I just listed. I don't know for sure. But I will say if you're looking for a good 12 episode anime of good old laughs and gaffs, I'm between Kaguya-sama and Gabriel Dropout for what I'm thinking. So one of those is a good pick. What about you guys?
Wait, so Scrub God D-Rains actually drains. It reminded me about Sakamoto-kun. Have you guys seen that one?
I've watched one episode of it, but I
I think
haven't
is it
watched
I've heard
Sakamoto?
about it.
No, isn't it
Yeah.
Sakamoto Desuga or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That one is that slice of life, right?
Yeah, it's probably slice of life and comedy, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah,
so.
there we go. I forgot about that one. That one's really funny actually. But my favorite comedy, I was like actually when you said that question, I was about to like fucking slam my hand on the table and fucking yell Gintama. But
Yeah.
so Gintama is my favorite comedy anime. That's my number one. I always say that's the one that actually made me laugh out loud. Like no other anime that's like comedy made me laugh out loud because most of the time you get a chuckle out of it. But yeah, and so my number 2 would be Danshi Kokosei no Nichijou, which is the daily lives of high school boys. I love that one, and I love the way they portray high school girls, because like high school girls are like the most terrifying things to high school boys, and so they're absolutely crazy, and I love it. So that's my first top 2, and then I guess I'd say Barakamon is also really funny. That's my recommended slice of life anime I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about you, Scott?
Like number 1, I'd probably say is Asobes. Like that's just it's just so weird, and it's like funny, and the animation is like it like flips a lot.
I've heard that the animation pairs really well with the comedy in that show.
Like it's
I've
just
heard.
like weird faces, weird anime, and even the ending is like some like heavy metal like ending music video, and I'm like, dang, it's so weird and like funny. I always rewatch it, like even like just like moments about it, just like okay, what's like the funniest moments of this, and I'm still laughing at it. So yeah.
The next question we have coming in through chat, we have G2 asking, what do you prefer, anime or manga?
He's trying to start a war.
Now,
He's trying to set this place on fire.
Oh no.
Now, I'll just give my answer straight up. Anime, and primarily anime, because I can't understand manga. It's something I've talked about before, not on this podcast, but I've talked about before. Manga doesn't, like, I have trouble. Basically, I'm small brain and like can't figure out how manga panels put together. So like when I read manga, I can't figure it out. So I just watch anime because I'm simple brain. So for me, it's anime.
Oh, I remember we were reading manga together, and you're like, I don't understand what's going on. I was trying to help him understand.
Yeah. So what about y'all? What about you? Anime or manga?
Everyone here that knows me already knows that I love manga, because there's just more details. Sometimes, half the times, the art is actually like much better. Half the time, I don't know how many times, but most of the time, I'd say the art is actually better, because the art for manga, it's more stylized to the mangaka, than the anime. Sometimes the anime, their art style doesn't get portrayed as well, or it doesn't really come through at all. And it's just more details in the story. Also, the anime doesn't even, like, sometimes the anime can't even get through the whole story, because, you know, you only have 12 episodes, 24 episodes, 26 episodes to go through. And half the times they're fillers, or just not completely related to the real story. So, to me, manga is just everything.
Shoot. I would say, like, that's tough. Like, I like the manga and the anime.
I'll make this easier. Which have you seen more of? More anime or read more manga?
Oh, more anime.
So you've watched more anime?
I've watched more anime than.
We'll just simplify it and leave it at that then. So
okay.
More anime in that case.
Manga! So. You guys are wrong! There's actually a wrong answer, those guys. There's no such thing as opinions. There's only wrong answers, and that's manga. More. I mean, anime. Shit, I fucked up.
Oh, 40 and slip.
No.
She meant anime.
I said everything wrong. God dang it.
Alrighty. Well,
I
think if anyone has any last minute questions, now is the time. Otherwise, we will be wrapping up shortly. Welcome everyone who's coming in at the last moment to
I know, everyone's coming in now.
What's up?
I'm so glad you guys came back. Welcome back.
Woohoo!
Greg says some manga are too cluttered to be understood, so the anime is better, but anime cuts out too much sometimes. That's a good point. That's what I regret. Like, I wish I could understand manga, because I would read the manga so I could get the fuller experience. But I do understand visual novels, and I love visual novels. Now, my favorite thing ever among anime, manga, and visual novels is the visual novel Umineko no Naku Koroni. I have a poster on my wall back there. If you look back there, Umineko no Naku no Koroni,
Wait,
my
is that
number one of
Higurashi?
all time. No, it's not Higurashi. It's Umineko. It's by the same
Wait.
author.
Oh, okay.
So it's that's my favorite. It's a murder mystery type novel. I love it. I can follow visual novels all day, but not manga. But like it's the same thing. Like it got a manga adaptation and an anime adaptation, and Umineko, like the visual novel, leaves in the most amount of details, and it's the best experience of the three, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I see what you're saying there, Greg.
Redme says best sports anime.
I've only watched about.
I've only seen Keijo. He's trying to say he's only seen Keijo.
I've only seen two.
Hands down.
I've seen two sports anime. I've watched Keijo.
I told you.
I've watched Uma Musume.
What the heck is Horse Girl?
It's the horse racing. It's the horse racing
like
anime.
I didn't know there was a horse racing anime.
It's a good anime. Keijo, I have no regrets. I have no regrets watching those two anime.
Morphine Bear says, "Can you read the text on the poster behind you?"
I can actually. I know a little bit of how to read some like a little bit of katakana, I think is the one. Anyways, yeah. I mean, it says Umineko. It says Umineko no Naku Koroni Chiru is what it says, and then in smaller text it says some English stuff. So you don't even care if I can read that, but the small text on there is English.
Ultimate Muscle is a sports anime. Malpopo, I agree.
Wait, what is
Ultimate Muscle?
Ultimate
Muscle. Have you seen that anime? It's so good. It's like one of those like old animes that like showed on like Fox, like on like Saturday morning. Like it's so good. Ultimate Muscle.
G2 says Cross Game is the best sports anime. What is that? What sport is that? Does anyone know?
I'm not familiar.
That's true. You're not
Sounds like a board game.
Anime guy. Okay, I used to be super into Kuroko no Basuke back in high school when no one watched it, and then I was over it, and then everyone was like, "Oh my god, Kuroko no Basuke," and I was like, "I'm over it, guys." But we all know Free is the best sports anime, hands down. What more do you need? There's no nipples on these guys, and they're shirtless.
Nice. That's how I like my guys. No nipples. No nips.
No nipples.
Mm-hmm. That's female fan service. It's female fan.
Yep. Oh, another question. Another question we skipped over. I saw in the chat. Where does fan service? I believe this was asked by Malpopo. Where does fan service belong in anime? Where would you prefer to see it if it's going to be inserted in an anime?
Everywhere.
Good question. If you've ever watched, I mean, there is a show that does it very tastefully. I like. I'm talking about Food War. I'm talking about Food Wars.
Food Wars. Yes.
They have a really good execution on just constant fan service. The execution's really well done, so like you'll watch it and enjoy the actual storyline so much that like the fan service doesn't detract from it. They've done a really good job with it, in my opinion.
I need my Hot Springs episode and my Speech Day episode. And
they are very equal about who they give the fan service to in the show too. So
I guess
in Food Wars, so it's a good one to watch if you want to learn about, if you want to see fan service done right. Watch Food Wars.
Fan service, huh? Do I like any anime with a lot of fan service? I'm sure there is. Free. There you go.
Free. Female.
Actually, okay. I don't think Free made me cry, but I felt things. And Free season 2.
You felt something. Okay.
I felt something in Free season 2.
Interesting.
Well, already. There we go. Short answer.
Alrighty, friends. I believe we are running out of time today. We've gone past the 1 hour long mark. We will be back next week. Thank you all for listening, and thank you, Scott, for joining me and Kamui, and thank you, Kamui, for being here with me on this journey of the Weebs Rise Up Anime Podcast. We will be back next week over at the TGXAndy Twitch channel live at the same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be back, so it'll be on my Twitch channel, and then the week after that, it'll be back on Kamui's channel where we're at right now. Every episode will, as usual, be watchable on the YouTube channel TGXAndy. So you can catch what you've missed up on there. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Yay, thank you everyone for coming, and thanks Scott for being here.
Alrighty.
Hentai.
Thanks, guys.
Oh my god, famous last words.
Woo!
Woo!
All right.
See ya.
Bye, friends.